So thought it'd be something interesting to kind of have a discussion around with some of the things that have been highlighted recently in the news around kind of winning over welfare, welfare over winning, the attitudes that are held in sporting organisations. So is around kind of, should wellbeing be a top priority when you're kind of developing athletes, and young athletes is kind of where I was going with that. So it was around, so we can see that mental health problems are on the rise in the population, and that's, athletes I don't think are exempt from that. So around, what can we do when we're creating an environment for these athletes to grow and develop and perform. So I think kind of going around that, the importance of the environment is really crucial with that. So it'd be interesting to have kind of a bit of discussion around what you guys think the environment would look like, as well as kind of why is it well-being over winning, or is it winning over well-being, and kind of your perceptions and opinion of that as well. So yeah, that was kind of a little bit of an introduction, and then thought we can kind of have a discussion around some of those bits.
I think it's one of the things that the focus should be on well-being, and then the winning tends to look after itself from that perspective. Whether or not it's kind of agreed across the board, really, there is just, for me, I feel it's the case where, you know, if we're looking after creating better people and looking after those individuals within sporting organisations, football clubs specifically, then we're more likely going to have people that are going to go out into the wider world and do well. And I think that would also be able to transfer out onto the pitch, where players are obviously enjoying their football a little bit more, and going on to perform to their potential.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, speaking from kind of the experience that I'm in at the moment in West Bromwich Albion, we're very much about developing a player and a person, and that comes from all different parts of the academy. So from the coaches, from management, from all sorts, and that's the targets that we're working towards. Obviously, we want to produce players that are going to be good enough to play in the Premier League, but we kind of believe that if we can produce these players that are going to be great people, then that's a massive success for us. So I think some of the things that we do, we have a very clear idea of what we're trying to develop, and what we're trying to all work towards that same vision and that same time. And I think that can be quite beneficial when you're trying to look after athlete wellbeing. And I think the coaches and all the support staff take time to know the athletes as people as well. We spend a lot of time talking to them about things outside sport and learning about their backgrounds, their families, and just kind of generally having chats with them. And the coaches will spend time with them on trips. And so if they're on an away game, then people will have a chat on the coach. Or even if you're just walking in from training, you see the coaches talking to different players on different days. And I think we put a lot of time into that kind of small talk, I suppose, as a way of developing those relationships. Because something that I'm really passionate about is working with athletes to develop those different identities, because I think sometimes they're seen as just the footballer or just the runner or just the whatever kind of sport they do, they're seen as that, and there's so many other things that fall in different areas of their lives, and trying to develop their confidence in those. And that's another thing that I'm kind of really passionate about, working with the players.
So Connor says, I think it has to be welfare over winning, otherwise we're letting our players down as coaches. Question from Tino: at what point do you have to remove the player from the squad who struggles with mental coping skills? See more at the university level in Canada.
So I think in terms of that, something that I'd look at with coaches would be what level they're playing at, in terms of, are they playing in their age category? Are they playing above? Are they playing whereabouts in their kind of area of development? So if we've got a player that's struggling to cope at the level they're playing, but that might be higher than their age, we might give them some more success by dropping them down to a lower age group. So if we've got a 17-year-old that's playing under 23 football regularly, we might look at bringing them down to the under 18s to give them that confidence boost and give them some of those skills they can practice in that arena where they're under less pressure and they're under a slightly less challenging environment for them. So we'd look at doing things like that. I think in terms of decisions as to starting lineups, I don't tend to get involved in those. I find I leave that down to the coaches, but I think it's a really interesting kind of discussion, and it is something that we look at in terms of if a coach thinks a player is struggling, then we might try and give them some success by, it might even be that we might train them with their own age group, or potentially even they might go and help out an age group lower down, just to try and give them an understanding of why they're where they are and what are their strengths in that area, just to try and boost that confidence and that understanding and of the skills that they do have, and then try and build on those from there.